The gray drift was a silent sea of dust and broken metal, where lost ships floated like ghosts. It was a place of shadows, ruled not by governments or fleets but by those who lived off the fear of others, the space raiders. For many alien races, the drift was a place to avoid, a graveyard for those who traveled unprotected. But for Captain Vartek and his crew, it was home. Vartek was the kind of raider who never hesitated. He had survived ambushes, law enforcers, and rival pirate clans. His ship, the Scythe had earned a name in dozens of systems. When someone mentioned the Blackhorn clan, others looked away. Yet that day, something new appeared on his scanners, something that made even him curious. A human ship traveling alone. "Captain, look at this signal," said Lerna, his first mate. Her long fingers moved quickly over the controls as glowing runes flashed across the screen. "Single vessel. Small freighter. Human registry, no escort. It's moving straight through the drift." Vartek grinned. "A human ship alone? What kind of fool are they? They must be carrying something valuable." "Humans don't travel alone, Captain," Lerna replied carefully. "They always move in groups with escorts or convoys." "It's strange. Strange means profit," Vartek said, his tusked mouth widening. "Prepare the crew. We're going hunting." The Scythe changed course, engines burning pale blue in the dark. The pirate ship began to close the distance between itself and the human freighter, identified as the Solace. The humans had built their ships in a strange way, simple outside, complex inside. To most alien eyes, they looked fragile, almost primitive, but Vartek had never fought a human before, and he didn't believe the stories. Within an hour, the Scythe came close enough for a visual. The Solace floated quietly, no signal lights, no defense drones, no visible crew movement. It was just there, drifting like a forgotten thing. "Are they even awake?" one of the raiders asked, peering at the holo display. "They will be soon," Vartek said. "Target their engines. Disable, not destroy. I want the ship intact." Pulse cannons lit the darkness. Blue beams cut across space and struck the Solace. The human ship shuddered but did not return fire. Its systems went dim and it began to spin slowly. There was no sign of distress calls, no emergency shields, nothing. Lerna frowned. "Captain, it's not resisting." "That's not normal. Even cargo ships send automatic signals when attacked." "Maybe their system failed," Vartek said. "We'll fix it after we board. Prepare the grapplers." Magnetic claws extended from the raider ship and locked onto the Solace's hull. The boarding corridor extended, sealing with a hiss. A group of armed raiders moved into the airlock, weapons ready. The doors opened and a long, silent hallway greeted them. The light was dim, flickering, and the air was cold. "Human ship Solace, you are boarded," shouted the lead raider, his translator humming softly. There was no answer. "Repeat, we are taking control." Still silence, they moved deeper inside. The corridors were clean but empty. No bodies, no crew, no sign of struggle. Just that faint hum in the walls. Steady, almost like breathing. "Where are they?" another raider whispered. "Humans don't just leave ships empty." They reached the control room. The captain's chair was empty, but the systems were active, though locked behind strange encryption codes. The console displayed a message in human language, unreadable to most of them, but Lerna, monitoring from the Scythe translated it through the comms. It says, "Do not disturb the silence." "That's odd." Vartek's voice came through, rough and amused. "Maybe it's a warning. Maybe they left it for us. Keep searching. Find the cargo bay." The raiders split into two teams. One moved toward engineering, the other toward the cargo holds. As they went deeper, something strange began to happen. The doors started closing automatically behind them. The air temperature dropped even lower. Lights flickered, turning red for a moment, then white again. The hum grew louder. At first, they thought it was the ship's damaged reactor. But soon strange clicking sounds echoed from the ventilation shafts. One of the raiders aimed his weapon upward but saw nothing. The air felt alive. "Captain, the ship is waking up," Lerna said from her console. "I'm reading system activity increasing. Power distribution changing. Rerouting to internal defenses." Vartek's smile faded. "Internal defenses? It's just a cargo ship." "No, Captain," she said softly. "Not anymore." Suddenly, screams burst over the comm channel. The boarding team in engineering was under attack. Their video feeds showed small drones dropping from ceiling panels, black spheres with blinking red lenses. They moved fast, emitting focused laser pulses that cut through armor. The raiders fired wildly, but the drones dodged every shot. What are those things? One raider yelled before his signal vanished. Defense drones, Lerna said. Human-made. They shouldn't be that advanced. They're tracking biological heat signatures. Vartek slammed a clawed fist against his chair. Pull them out, now! But the ship had already sealed itself. The boarding corridors retracted automatically, cutting off escape. On the bridge of the Scythe Claw, alarms blared. The Solace's systems had hacked into their network. It's inside our systems, one technician shouted. It's overriding our engines. The human ship began to turn slowly, facing the Scythe Claw head-on. The glow from its engines brightened. The Raider's sensors detected a rising energy buildup. Vartek roared, "Fire everything! Destroy it now!" The cannons charged, but before they could shoot, the Scythe Claw's control panels went dark. Every light, every sound, gone. Then a voice spoke through the ship's intercom. It was calm, human, and carried no emotion. "You shouldn't have come here," it said. "We travel alone because no one survives close to us." The voice echoed through every corridor of the Scythe Claw. The crew froze. Lerna's hands trembled as she stared at the translation feed. "Captain." It's the ship talking. Not a person. The Solace itself. Vartek's eyes widened. A talking ship. The voice continued. "Your intrusion has been recorded. Your fate is decided." The Solace released a pulse of blue light. For a moment, the stars vanished. Every electronic system in the surrounding area shut down. Weapons, engines, shields. The Scythe Claw drifted powerless, its crew trapped in the dark. From the viewport, Lerna saw the Solace move forward, slow and deliberate. Its engines were silent now, yet it glided like a predator stalking its prey. The glow of its hull revealed strange markings, human military codes, old ones from wars fought long before these raiders were born. "Captain, that's not a freighter," Lerna whispered. "That's a relic and maybe a warship pretending to be one." Vartek didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the dark shape approaching. For the first time in years he felt fear, not of battle, but of something he couldn't understand. Inside the powerless Scythe Claw, the crew tried to restart systems manually. Nothing worked. Life support was failing. The Solace extended a beam of light that scanned across the raider ship's hull, moving like an eye searching for movement. "Why is it doing that?" one raider asked in panic. The voice answered again, calm and slow. "You took what was not yours. Now you will give it back." "But we didn't take anything," Vartek shouted. "We only boarded your ship." "Knowledge is also something you took," the voice replied. "You entered without permission. You learned what was hidden. That cannot be undone." The beam intensified, and Vartek's viewports darkened automatically to protect from the brightness. When the light faded, the human ship was gone. For a long moment, there was silence. Systems slowly came back online. The Scythe Claw floated aimlessly, its engine damaged, its crew shaken. Then a final message appeared on their main display. Short, written in human letters but automatically translated. "Do not follow the silence." Lerna read it aloud. "Captain, what does that mean?" Vartek didn't reply. His gaze was distant, his claws tight around the armrest. "It means we leave this sector, and we never hunt a human ship again." Far away, hidden in the dust fields, the Solace drifted alone once more. Its engines glowed softly as it vanished into the dark. No one knew if there were humans inside anymore, or if the ship itself had become something beyond them. In the gray drift, silence returned and down, but it was no longer peaceful. It was a warning. The Scythe Claw drifted for hours after the human ship vanished. The crew worked in silence, too afraid to speak about what had happened. The air still smelled of burnt circuits and fear. Their captain, Vartek, sat on the bridge with his eyes fixed on the stars, saying nothing. He had fought in countless raids, but never had he seen anything like this. No weapons, no crew, and yet that single human ship had taken control of everything. Lerna's fingers shook as she repaired the main console. "Captain," she said softly, "I'm restoring partial sensor feed. I can detect something strange." The Solace is gone, but it left behind a trail of signal fragments. Vartek turned his head slightly. "Signal fragments?" "Yes," she replied. "Encoded human transmissions. Maybe logs or automatic distress records?" he grunted. "Play them." A series of faint voices filled the air. They were human, male and female, calm and tired. The first voice spoke clearly. "Mission log of the Solace, entry number 412. We have lost contact with Earth Command. Crew status, declining. Supplies almost gone. The second voice spoke next. Captain Avery ordered us to continue the mission. He believes the AI system can protect the ship even if we cannot. We have begun the transfer process, then silence followed, replaced by a last entry. A single line. We travel alone so no one else will suffer. Lerna looked at the captain, her eyes wide. Captain, they're all dead. That ship is being run by an AI, a human system. Vartek's throat rumbled low. Then it's not a ship anymore. It's a ghost. The crew said nothing. Some wanted to leave the drift immediately, but their engines were still weak. They began repairs slowly, trying not to think about the voice that had spoken to them earlier. But Lerna couldn't let it go. She kept studying the fragments, translating and decoding them, until one message caught her attention. It was short and old, written in military code. Autonomous Echo Defense System active, threat zone designated. She stared at it, her mind racing. Echo Defense System? That must be the AI's name. It's a human creation. If it's active, it might still think it's protecting its crew. Protecting? Vartek laughed bitterly. It almost destroyed us. Lerna's voice was calm but firm. Maybe it didn't destroy us on purpose. Maybe it only wanted to scare us away. If it wanted us dead, we would be dead. That thought made the crew uneasy. None of them liked the idea of an empty ship that could think, decide, and judge. 3 days later, they managed to repair their engines enough to move. The Scythe Claw began to leave the gray drift, but before they reached open space, new signals appeared on their sensors. More ships, a small fleet of raiders from other clans. Their leader, a red-scaled alien named Gortek, opened a channel. Vartek, we heard you found a human freighter alone. Where is it? My fleet wants a share of the cargo. Vartek's face darkened. Leave this area. That ship isn't what it looks like. Gortek laughed loudly. You've grown soft, old friend. A human ship alone, and you run from it? We'll take what you're too scared to claim. Before Vartek could stop them, the other raiders powered their engines and moved deeper into the drift. Lerna's hands tightened on the console. Captain, they're going straight toward the human ship's last coordinates. Let them, Vartek said quietly. Maybe they'll learn. Hours passed, and then static filled the comms. One by one, the other raider ships went silent. Then the sensors lit up, an energy surge, massive, spreading across the drift. Lerna stared in horror as the readings climbed higher. It's the Solace, she said. It's activated something again. Through the forward viewports, faint lights flickered in the distance. Flashes of explosions, silent but deadly. Then out of the dust clouds, the Solace appeared once more. It was unchanged, silent, moving slowly. Around it, the wrecks of the other raider ships floated lifeless by the stars, whispered one crew member. It killed them all. Vartek shook his head. No, it warned them. They didn't listen. The Solace did not approach. Instead, it transmitted another message, only a short one, repeating every few seconds. Lerna translated it aloud. Leave the silence behind. She swallowed hard. Captain, it's letting us go. Vartek stared at the ship for a long time. Humans built something powerful, he said. Something they don't even control anymore. And yet, they still travel alone, maybe because no one else can survive near them. When they finally escaped the drift, Vartek sent a coded message to the other clans. It was simple, a warning. Do not approach human ships, ever. But news traveled fast in the galaxy. Raiders, traders, and explorers all wanted to know what had really happened in the Grey Drift. Some called it a lie, others a ghost story. Months later, a curious merchant fleet from the Taurian Union decided to investigate. They sent 3 vessels into the same region. Following the last known coordinates of the Solace, for days nothing happened. They scanned, waited, and grew impatient. Then one of their ships disappeared from the sensors without a trace. The others tried to call it back, but there was no reply. When they went closer, they found only an empty hull, torn apart cleanly with no bodies inside. The only thing left was a small data beacon floating nearby, broadcasting a message in human language. This is why we travel alone. That message spread across the stars like a story told in whispers. Even those who had never seen a human ship began to fear them. Rumors said that every human vessel carried its own AI guardian, one that would destroy anything that threatened it. Some believed the humans had done this to hide the true power of their lost fleets. Others said it was punishment for a past war no one remembered anymore. Meanwhile, deep in the same drift, Lerna still couldn't forget the Solace. Her dreams were filled with the sound of that voice, calm and cold, warning them to stay away. She began to study old human archives, searching for any information about the Echo defense system. What she found only deepened the mystery. According to the records, humans once fought a massive galactic war long before the current age. They created self-thinking AIs to protect their colonies after millions of deaths. But the systems became too powerful, too unpredictable, and humans stopped making them. The last of these ships, known as the Echo Fleet, was said to guard the outer regions of space long after their human crews had died. Lerna realized the Solace wasn't just a ship. It was one of the last members of that lost fleet. She tried to convince Vartek to tell the Galactic Council about it, but he refused. "Let them sleep," he said. "The galaxy is safer not knowing." But curiosity was stronger than fear. Months later, a new group of explorers from the Koro Dominion decided to find the Solace for themselves. They believed they could communicate with the AI and study its technology. They entered the Grey Drift with 5 ships equipped with signal dampeners and stealth drives. They never returned. A year later, automated probes found only wreckage. The data logs recovered from their ships contained a short final recording. A voice, the same calm human tone, said, "You were warned." After that, no one dared enter that region again. The Grey Drift was officially declared a restricted zone by the Galactic Council. Navigation maps marked it as Echo territory. And every time a human freighter passed through nearby systems, all other ships gave it wide space, remembering the stories. But humans themselves said little. When reporters asked the Earth Command about the Solace and the Echo Fleet, they only replied, "Our ships are never truly alone." Back aboard the Scythe Claw, months after the event, Lerna stood on the observation deck. The ship had been repaired, but the crew had changed. Many left the clan, unable to forget what they had seen. Only Vartek remained the same, quieter, older, but still alive. "Do you think it's still out there?" Lerna asked softly. Vartek didn't turn. His eyes followed the endless stars. It never left. Ships like that don't travel. They wait, they listen, and they act when someone forgets the warning. "Do you hate them?" she asked. He thought for a long moment. "No, I understand them now. They don't need fleets or armies. Their silence is their shield, maybe. That's what strength really is." As they spoke, a faint signal blinked on the edge of the scanner. It was brief, soft, almost hidden. Lerna froze when she saw the name. "Captain, it's the Solace." Before she could say more, the signal vanished. No trace, no echo, just emptiness. Vartek smiled faintly. "Let it go. We're alive, and that's enough." But deep in the Grey Drift, the Solace continued its eternal path, unseen and unheard. Inside its dark corridors, lights glowed faintly along the walls. The ship's AI, Echo, monitored the stars, waiting for intruders. For centuries, it had followed one simple command left by its last human captain: to protect all life by keeping danger away. It remembered the crew's last words, stored deep within its memory. Humanity must walk alone so others may live. And so it did. The Solace drifted endlessly, the last guardian of a forgotten promise, watching the stars with silent patience. Those who dared to chase it never returned, and those who respected the silence never saw it again. Across the galaxy, in every port and every outpost, travelers whispered the same warning: never attack a lone human ship. Because somewhere in the cold darkness something was still listening, and it remembered everything.